Callahan.
Thank you, Mr. Waldron. I promised to be much quicker than I was last week. So, Mr. Spurg, I got a couple questions real quick, if you could help me out. First of all, I want to thank everybody that reached out to me over the week. I received literally dozens of phone calls and a few emails. At the end of the meeting, I had a couple that came up when I was talking with Mr. Waldron and Mr. Cologne, and said it was probably the greatest meeting that they'd ever been to, and they wish that we continue to have the debate and an open discussion like we did. I don't think that we should be getting as personal as Mr. Reynolds and I did at the end, which I will apologize to him in a few minutes for. But I do think that the debate and open discussion is a good thing for the citizens. And I mean, that's what I heard all week long from, I mean, literally dozens of people. And yesterday, I received a phone. I'm not going to say his name, but everybody knows him. He's a longtime servant in Northampton County, very distinguished. Had a great phone call with him. He called me up out of the blue, and I spent about 40 minutes on the phone, and he just said, it's a good thing for the city that you have the debate and discussion, and things need to be said. And I do appreciate him reaching out to me on that. Mr. Spurg, a few of the people that called me were lawyers and solicitors for other boroughs and cities, and a few for some authorities. So, from what I'm being told, and correct me if I'm wrong, please, according to Robert's Rules of Orders, and I really don't want to break them, and I apologize to Ms. Van Wert if I broke one, which was around 1:32. But according to Robert's Rules of Orders, in small settings, I don't know if it's under 300 or whatever it is, you are allowed to have direct comments to individuals, correct? Is that right or wrong?
Generally speaking, in small boards, which is usually 12 or less, I say, generally speaking, under Roberts, in small boards, modifications to the rules permitting greater flexibility are commonly allowed.
So it wouldn't be a violation to address someone directly if it's under a 12. If the committee or the board is under 12, according to Robert's Rules of Orders.
Modifications to the rules permitting greater flexibility are commonly allowed in small boards, says Roberts. So yeah, there's a million times in Roberts when it says direct comment should be directed at the chair, not to each other, but this is a small board, and modifications to the rules permitting greater flexibility are commonly allowed.
Thank you. The other thing is, and I promise not to, there's only a few of them, but I want to make sure that everybody understands it. While I did, according to our standard of not addressing each other, we all have broken the rules. In that meeting alone, I wanted to just play a couple of things, because I want to play by the same rules as everybody else. I really do. But I don't want to be called out on something that we all are doing. And so, with that being said, I at minute 1 hour and 32.46, I guess I had attributed a motive to Mr. Reynolds. And correctly, Dr. Van Wert had called a point of order, and Mr. Spurg corrected me on it. And I think Mr. Antalis is correct that if something does violate the Robert's Rules of Orders, the chair, the president or the chair can have a light tap at first, and if it's broken again, he can then gavel down the speaker. Is that correct?
It is usually in the best interest of the organization first to make every effort to obtain a satisfactory solution to the matter quietly and informally. If a slight breach occurs, a light rap of the gavel pointing out the fault. If it's more serious, a warning to the member. If it's more serious than that, naming the member, calling him by name and asking him to confine his remarks. And then finally, the chair can ask what penalty imposed. That's a guideline that it's the best interest in the organization to proceed in that graduated fashion, but it's not required. It's Robert's suggestions of the way to proceed.
Right. So, and just moving forward, not just tonight, but in future meetings, I want to abide by whatever rules we decide, or President Water wants to abide by, whether we are allowed to address each other or whether we're not. But if we're not, and I'm going to be called on that, I want everybody to be, I want the rules to apply evenly to everybody. I think it's fair, right? And I think you would all agree with that. So, very, very quickly, my violation of the Robert Rule of Order was at 1 hour, 32 minutes, and 46 seconds. That's when I accidentally attributed something to Mr. Reynolds, which I will apologize for. But this was at minute 54. Hold on.
Thank you, Mr. Cole. Thank you. Yes, Mr. Cullen, I think that if anything, this experience has brought into strict definition the fact that we need to...
This here was at minute 1 hour 18.37, and to me, it sounds like Mr. Reynolds is attributing to me a motive.
Presenting up the numbers in my head, probably all the campaigns combined, raised over $200,000 from a lot of different places. I also think, and you probably clearly spend a lot of time thinking about looking into things I do or I may say.
Mr. Spurk, would you agree that that is attributing a motive to me?
The part where he said you spend a lot of time thinking about it.
Correct.
To the extent that your thinking motivates your comments, is a motive for that, I suppose.
Thank you. I have a few more, and then I'll end. This is minute 120, and again, this is 20, 30 minutes, or 20, 25 minutes prior to me being called into question on Robert's Rule. Because I just want to point out, we're all breaking them. It's just that I just felt like I was the only one being called out on it.
As Mr. Callahan is very angry and very frustrated, Mr. Callahan, please, as I said, I think it is
This is 2120.
passionate, fired up, whatever word you want to say.
Sorry.
Frustrated, passionate, fired up, whatever word you want to say. Not think it's personal. That might not be the way that you perceive it. I can tell you that that's the way many people do perceive it. And
Two more and I'm done.
may not think it's personal. That might not be the way that you... I think as those bridges, and sometimes Mr. Khan, you say things that I'm like, I definitely agree with what he's saying. Sometimes I think I definitely disagree with what he's saying. And I think that the way that you have had conversations in the past about different issues that have obviously made you very, frustrated and angry, I think at different times, I think I can see frustrated and angry, has led to bridges being burned.
And this is the last one.
I think we,
Sometimes you're looking for a response, and I'm not going to play into that, I'm not going to respond.
Mr. Spurk, can you just make a quick ruling on that one, please? On this
I
comment.
think sometimes you're looking for a response, and I'm not going to play into that, I'm not going to respond.
Speaking to you directly?
Yes, and attributing a motive.
Yeah,
Would you agree with that?
as third, yeah.
I don't want to bore anybody. My only point of bringing this up is, this was all prior to me making my statement. And all I'm asking for is, if you're going to call me out, please call out other people. That's all I'm asking for. I just want everybody to play by the same rules. And I really don't mind having the open debate. I just want, whatever we're going to go with from this point on, I just hope that it's equally held to everybody. That's it.
Do you feel that you were treated unfairly?
No, I actually, I had someone ask me, do you regret anything? The only thing I regret, if you listen to the first 24 minutes I spoke, I kept it on city business. And what I do regret is that around minute 1:30, Mr. Reynolds got personal with me and brought up a personal conversation that I had with him. And that's what I regret. And for that, Mr. Reynolds, for my response back to you, I apologize. But at no time in the first 24 minutes when I spoke did I make anything personal to anybody. It was strictly city council business and opinions that I had of how I felt a candidate for zoning, that I felt it was political retribution and political revenge, and that's why that's my opinion, is that it was political retribution and political revenge. And I stand by that, but from moving forward, I just want to know if we are allowed to, because other people broke that rule prior, and you never ever addressed it. And so from this point on, according to Robert's rules, we are allowed to have communication with each other without going through the president. And whatever we decide, I'm fine with. I just hope that everybody's held to the same standard, because there was multiple violations here prior to mine. And I just want to make it straight. I welcome the debate on any topic. I really do. But I do, again, Mr. Reynolds, I apologize that me and you got personal last week, and for that I do apologize. But if you look, I think if you're fair about it and want to go back and look at it, the first 24 minutes, I didn't attack anybody. What I was doing was questioning in things that had to do with city business and finances.